Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Clutch Conversations. It's your boy Mike. We back at you one more again, live on a Thursday night. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. Appreciate everybody showing up. Make sure y'all show some love to my lovely wife, Takar. She always holding us down, man. She always got my back, man. So y'all make sure y'all show her how much y'all appreciate everything she does. Show her some love in the comments, and don't stop there. Make sure you show the channel some love as well. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and smash that notification bell so you can get notifications each and every time we drop a video here on the channel. Tonight we got the homie Troy from Balls and Strikes Pythons, so it's guaranteed to be a blast, man. Every time I link up with Troy, man, it's always good vibes, good conversation, and I'm always walking away and I learned something, man. So definitely stay tuned. We're gonna have that in just a few minutes, but before we do that, we're gonna do some housekeeping stuff. Make sure you are finding us everywhere you can find us. You can find us on Morph Market. You can find us on IG, 2 pages, Herp Collectors Network. Make sure you're checking us out on Facebook and audio podcast platforms. Clutch Conversations, as well as all the shows in the Herp Collectors Network portfolio, can be found on major podcasting platforms. So definitely, man, slide through, show us some love. Be sure to follow, rate, and review if you're checking us out on the audio podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, all that good stuff. And check out the website, clutchconversations.com. You can find us there as well. And make sure you're supporting USARK and USARK Florida. The link for both organizations is in the description of this video. These are the organizations to help protect our rights as reptile keepers. So we definitely need to be tapped in with them. We definitely need to be supporting them. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend. Whatever you can do, get you a membership, drop your extra donation, chill at the auctions, at the shows, all that good stuff. Make sure you're spreading the word. I actually had the pleasure of sitting down with the homie Jeremy from Brassman Reptiles, and he also works with USARK. We had an interview. We recorded it earlier this week, like on Monday. That should be dropping pretty soon. Real dope interview. Make sure you check that out on the USARK official YouTube channel. Also, make sure you are in the Double Clutch Patreon, man. Having a blast, man. We always looking at stuff, seeing how we can get better, switching things up. Now we switched it up to where the Zoom calls every other week for everybody, man. We have a blast on the Zoom calls. Real good family vibes, real good time, man. So definitely check us out. Tap in with us on the Double Clutch Patreon. We got 4 different tiers you can pick from, depending on what your needs are, what you can do. We really appreciate it, man. Appreciate the support. And make sure you're checking out all the Herp Collectors Network shows. We got Control Corner, Retake Rundown, Grow House, of course, Clutch Conversations and Double Clutch and Morph Map, man. A lot of fun with those shows, man. A lot of good information being shared. Really loving the vibes, man. Really loving the growth of the network. So make sure you're checking that stuff out. Hey, we're gonna kick a sponsor video here, and then we'll get to the chat.
Join KINOVA's Patreon today and get access to hundreds of hours of exclusive educational content designed to help you run a successful ball python business. Get insider information on the latest genetics, hot new combos, and market trends, learning directly from the world's leading ball python designer. With 5 benefits packed tiers, you may be asking yourself, which tier do I join, Mike? Well, if you're on the fence, I'd recommend the student tier. When I first joined the Patreon almost 4 years ago, this is the tier that I started on, and it's only gotten better since. So don't delay. Join the KINOVA Patreon today. Art comes in many forms. At Armless Angels, it comes to life. In life, success doesn't come to you. You go to it. In this game, forward thinking is the key to innovation and staying relevant. Plan your work and work your plan. Lose yourself in the art. Lose yourself with wetter morphs.
Big shout out to the sponsors, man. Appreciate the love and appreciate the support. Let's see who got in the chat tapped in tonight. John, what's up? Lucky's Pythons in the building. We got the guests double dipping in the building. Troy, what's up? We got the homie Thomas in the building. Low Life Exotics. Chad, what's good? Hyperspace Reptiles in the building. Appreciate you coming out. We got Dwight, the Pie Man in the building. What's good, brother? Appreciate the support. We got the homie Jeremy Bots, Exotic Reptiles in the building. Appreciate you coming out. We got the homie Ro. What's good, man? Double Clutch Patreon representative, Herp Collectors Network representative. Appreciate you coming out. We got Kate in the building, Heart of the Python. Appreciate you coming out. It was good kicking it with you on the Zoom call the other night. We got the homie Fred MTZ Pythons in the building. What's good, cuz? Appreciate you coming out. And of course, we got Wife in the building. We're gonna stop it right there, and we're gonna kick the intro, and then we'll be right back.
Baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow my lady, just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up. If this cold, who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this?
Troy, what's up, bro? How's it going?
Oh, it's going good. Always good to be on with you, Mike.
It's always good to chop it up with you.
Absolutely. First time we've been on here. I mean, yeah, we've hung out in person quite a few times since the last time. So
yeah,
it's good to be back on the show.
It's good to have you back, man. I think last time you was on the show was what, in Atlanta for the first series show?
Yeah. Yep. And then I think the first time I was on there was during like the 15 Minutes of Lame a couple years ago when I was on there.
Okay, yeah, man. It's been long overdue.
Oh yeah. All right. All good.
That was what 2023 or 2024?
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Was it
2023? It had to be 2023.
Yeah, it was 2023. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So, oh yeah.
Cool, man. So it's good to have you back, man. Like I say, every time I talk to you, I learn some good information, good vibes, man. It's always good kicking it with you at the show and whatnot. So I definitely, because I know we had a conversation on the phone several months back, and we talked a little bit about vending and stuff like that. And you was just dropping like gym after gym after gym after gym. So I was thinking, I was like, man, it'd be a good idea to get him on the show so he can share that wealth of knowledge with everyone.
Yeah, I actually tried to get Margaret to come and sit in here with me as well, because I mean, she's just the biggest show warrior as I am. So, you know, but she didn't want to come in. She was working in the yard all day and said she just looks a mess and didn't want to be on camera tonight.
Hey, it ain't too late, man.
But,
you can drop by.
I know. She can just go get cleaned up and then come on in here and have a seat with me. So, but yeah, Limey Smidger on there. Yeah, that guy's forgotten more about shows than I'll probably ever know. So shout out to Limey Smidger. He's definitely one of the guys I really look up to in this hobby. So
Yeah, we need
Now
to get
this,
Limey on the show. Cough, cough.
I know it. I know it. I know it. So yeah, he's such a good guy. I mean, that's a guy. If he likes you, he loves you. If he don't like you, just just steer clear, or hand him a bunch of money and buy some of his amazing animals, one way or another. So I
That's
know he
what's
hates
up,
me,
man.
but he loves Margaret. So that's all. That's all good. So
So speaking of shows,
yeah.
what show you got coming up next? Is it Siri or you got something before that?
No, my next show I think it's June 20, the weekend of the 20 something. Hang on. It's Repticon in Charlotte, North Carolina, 21st, 22nd, Charlotte. So, but yeah, that's our next show, and then after that we'll be back to Atlanta,
Okay.
Bob's show at Southeast Reptile Expo.
Are you doing Daytona as well?
Yep. Then we got, well, actually, we have Columbia Repticon the first weekend of August, then Sear, then Daytona.
In
So we got a
Daytona.
back-to-back weekends, which is always really rough. So,
Yeah,
but
I can imagine too. Like, what's your plan? Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but
yeah.
like, what's your plan for the animals? Like when you have back-to-back weekends like that.
So preferably we'll do one set of animals, one set of snakes. For Columbia, we'll have a whole different displays full of animals at Atlanta, and then probably that next weekend for Daytona we'll be back to the whatever was left over, and then whatever else might be ready by then. But that's kind of a slow, we're just getting into really starting to hatch some clutches. And I mean, we've only hatched 5-6 clutches so far, and I think we were on like clutch 14 just laid yesterday. And then, but yeah, so we're just now getting into getting clutches on the ground and hatching at the same time. So we should end up somewhere around 60, 70 this year, which is a
60,
lot
70
for us.
clutches. Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot for us, but we do a lot of shows, but we're actually slowly kind of selling off some of our breeders this season. We've got so many holdbacks to upgrade all the ones we have right now. So we're slowly kind of transitioning and probably reducing the number. I'd like to be back down around that 35, 40 clutch mark next year.
Is 60, 70, that's the most you've done, I'm assuming?
Yeah. The most we've done so far is 44, and that was in 2023. And I thought it was a lot of work then. And then towards the end of the year, we had kind of sold off some females to kind of reduce the production. And then like after this year's Tinley, and then Atlanta, that little spring stretch, I mean, we're almost sold out. I think we had like 9 snakes left to sell. And only like maybe 4 or 5 of those were left over 2024. So, but we should be stocked up pretty good for Charlotte Repticon coming up. So we got some nice stuff that's hatched out. So
Okay. So you're definitely not having any problems moving any snakes. Remind me,
no.
are you doing this full time? Or are you
God,
working
no.
too?
No. I work. Yeah, I work for a company called 3DR Laboratories. We get CAT scans and MRIs from hospitals all over the country. They send them into our company. We do 3D reconstructions. We do surgical plannings and all kinds of different things for different surgeons and radiologists all around the country. And then, so we post-process all that and then send it back to the hospitals for them to review. And then, whether it's going in doing heart surgeries or liver transplants, kidney transplants. I mean, all kinds. I mean, you name it. But there's just so much. We do stuff for radiation therapy. I mean, it's pretty crazy. We do a lot of different studies for hospitals around the country.
Okay, and how many shows are you doing a year on average?
We've hit right at 18, I think 18 shows the last 2 years. This year won't be quite as many. speaking of the wife, there she is in the chat there. So
I see him. What's up, Margaret?
yeah. But this year I think we're only going to hit like 14 or 15, and next year we'll probably back down around 10 or 11 shows. Next year we're definitely kind of honing in our show schedule a little bit. It's just so much. And then when we have times like August where we have 3 shows back to back to back, I hate feeling like I'm behind on Husbandry or anything like that. Even when it comes to the rodents, I just hate getting too far behind where I feel like they're not getting, the absolute most attention and best care I can give them. So yeah, we're going to reduce the show schedule a little bit. Kind of focusing more in on certain projects, not really breeding just to breed stuff for shows necessarily. Luckily, one of our big projects, which is like campfires, bonfires, Eternal Flame project, that stuff, I mean, it sells great at the shows, and it's a big project of ours. So, that really pushes us through. That way we have snakes that are technically, I guess a lot of people would consider pet level, but pet level to the $500 to $1,500 range. So
Gotcha.
in a lot of cases, and then our misses on those are usually still good $200, $300, $400 animals too. So that really helps. So, but
yeah, big shout out to Jamie. Real quick, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. I don't know how many likes we got. I didn't check, but somebody let me know in the comments. But make sure y'all hit that like button. Y'all know the ritual. Hit that like button. Stop slacking. Big shout out to Jamie for reminding everybody and reminding me as well. Hit that like button. Appreciate it. So, man, you've been vending for a minute. You do a bunch of shows, man. So lots of experience and whatnot. Let's jump right into it with a big question. Like, what's one of the biggest lessons that you've learned that you feel like people miss out on with vending shows early on?
Talk to everybody. Put the phone down. If you're at a show, put the phone down. Don't pick it up unless there is absolutely nobody standing at your table or walking up and down the aisles. Put the phone down. Greet every person. One thing I don't really like, and it seems to really kind of push people away, is don't ask them if you can help them. Can I help you with anything? All that. It makes people feel like you're trying to sell them something. I just say, hey, how's it going? Or, if they're really looking at something, ask them what they're into. Do you like banana stuff? Do you like clowns? Do you like that? Just, get an idea of what they're kind of looking for. But I try not to ever say, can I help you to somebody? It really seems to be like one of those sales words that people, they don't like to be sold something. They if they want to buy an animal, usually they'll ask, but I always want them to have that open dialogue already. So anybody that walks up to the table, either myself or Margaret will say hello to them and, how are you doing? We'll say, have you seen anything great at the show? And because sometimes I like to hear the answers to that too. Because if somebody's like, oh my God, yeah, so-and-so has this amazing blah, 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 and I haven't had a chance to see it. Well, I'll probably leave the table at some point to go look at it to see if they have it, just to check it out. So, so that's kind of fun too. So just opening that dialogue and staying off the phone. We stand almost the entire show, and I'm a big guy. If I can stand all day for 2-3 days at some of these shows, I mean, come on. People can stand up at their displays and
do you have one of those mats behind your table?
Pardon me?
Do you have one of those mats behind your table?
No, I've tripped on them a couple times. We did have the pads that are kind of squishy that help with fatigue, but I'm getting a little old and forgetful and moving around, and I've tripped over them a couple times and almost face planted into the display. So, so we don't do any of those. So we don't do that anymore.
So is that always your approach in terms of the question? Like, instead of asking them like, can I help you with something? Was that always your approach, or did that just kind of evolve over time?
In the very beginning, I think it didn't take long to say it so many times where I realized every time I said it, people, you tend to walk away. But if I just say, hello, or hey, how's it going? usually they'll engage, and typically they'll even hang out at the table a little bit longer too, maybe catch something they didn't see at the first glimpse. So yeah, it didn't take me too long to wake up to that, where I was just like, ooh, saying, can I help you, just wasn't working for me. Some people think that works for them, great, but I just feel like it doesn't, it doesn't do us any favors. And just like I said, I don't want anybody to feel like I'm trying to sell them something, but I always, once they engage and let me know what they're into, what they're looking for, then obviously I'll try to guide them to whatever either I have, or, if some of our good friends are at the show and we don't have what they're looking for, but, Jay and Lizzie at JLP, I know will have it, or, Ed and Kate at Coffin's Critters might have it, or Limey might have it on his table, or any few other people, we're definitely kind of, we're pretty tight knit at some of the shows, at some of these, where we will definitely walk somebody to another table. Even Stephen and Courtney at Leviathan, we've both walked people to each other's tables at shows as well. So Noodle Group is another good example that's really tight with all of us, that we have that mutual respect. Everybody seems they do everything correctly. Their animals are healthy, they look good, their displays are nice and clean, so that, but we can get into that show stuff. If there are people who are considering doing shows, I mean, I have a list of stuff. If you want to know where we get our banners, our lights, table covers, all that, I've got a list of everything. If you want to get into that here after a while. So if
that was actually my next question as far as booth setup. But real quick before we move on to booth setup, I do think that's smart to engage in conversations with people and get them hanging around your table. For the reasons you said too, right? Because they stand at your table more, so they might see more stuff that they might have missed on the first pass. You never know where a conversation could lead to. Like, this could lead to it being somebody that you regularly converse with, right? And you might gain a friend, you might gain a customer, or both, even better. Right. And a lot of people, like people who aren't familiar with you, are as familiar with like all the other vendors and stuff. Like at a big show, especially, you go to a big show, you see in tons and tons of vendors, you're more likely to remember somebody who you like had a significant conversation with.
Absolutely. The ones that will hang out, talk to you, ask a bunch of questions back at you, that good interaction that eventually buys an animal from you. I do tend to remember them more often. And of course, we do have quite a few regular customers that have become very good friends. Another thing too, like I don't care who you are, what you look like, anything, everybody gets treated the same. Like, hey, just like you, hey fam, you know what I mean? Everybody comes to that table, hey, that's Reptile family, you're at a Reptile show, hey, we're all family, come on in. Let's have a conversation. If you're in a 3-piece suit or you look like, like you didn't have a penny to your name, I don't care. Everybody will be greeted the same, treated the same, so we don't, everybody has the same color money in their pocket typically, so
Yeah, I'm rocking a tuxedo to next Southeast Reptile Expo.
Say that again. You're gonna wear
I'm gonna rock a tuxedo to the next Southeast Reptile Expo.
Oh, all right. Well, if Troy's gonna be there, man, you might be.
He got some competition.
Yeah. Since he's supposed to be the best dressed.
Now he got some competition now, rocking with a top hat and everything. Gonna look like the Monopoly man.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're usually just sporting our Balls and Strike shirts, on occasion. Like I made a mistake. We went to I went to Dallas NARBC with Ed from Coffin's Critters. We went out there, and on Friday during setup, I was wearing a Kittinger's t-shirt, and man, I must have fielded 50 questions about where's Jason, like where's he set up. I'm like, yeah, I don't think he's here. He's not coming. I mean, I don't know. He didn't check in with me. So that was one of those things where, man, like if I know for sure he's not going to be at a show, I'm probably not going to wear a shirt. Now, if they're going to be there, I'll probably wear his shirt. Super comfortable. But there's been other shows like that too, like Chad Hulker. I had his shirt on one morning during Dallas, and he wasn't able to make it out. So it's kind of funny on those things. So we tend to just try to wear our own shirt. Plus, it's good. We usually have a bunch of shirts with us too. So we usually have plenty to sell. But yeah, that's all good for marketing too, man.
Okay, as far as booth setup, so talk a little bit about your booth setup, but before you get into like how it is now, can you speak a little bit to like where you started? Because I think that's important too, because I know when you started, it's probably evolved over time, and that's a important part of the process. Is just growth over time and kind of adding on to stuff, tweaking stuff. You don't have to go out there and be like number one, like right out the gate. Like it's a growth process, because I mean it's cost involved, it's experience that leads to you doing some things differently. So kind of talk about how you started and kind of talk about how you evolved.
So I started vending shows with a friend of mine. His name's Bill, and he has BC Pythons, not to be confused with Brian Carter's BC balls. This was BC Python's Bill Perry. He had a YouTube channel for a while. I think he's out now. If he's not, he probably only has a handful of animals. But he was vending a show there in Southern Indiana. And so when I first kind of got in, I made friends with him, talked to him a little bit. Then when I had a few animals to sell, he was like, oh yeah, well, I don't have a ton to sell, so why don't you just join me? So I joined him. So that's basically how I got my start, was just kind of vending with somebody else. So, and that was with Bill. Then after probably about 4 or 5 shows, I went ahead and purchased my own displays. I bought 2 displays off a guy off Facebook. He used to set up in the back of Tinley. He's out of Oregon, and it was acrylic displays on Facebook. And I'm pretty sure he retired, and then I think the son was going to take over, and then so he came back out of retirement. So I'm not 100% sure. If anybody knows in the chat if he's still making displays, I'm not sure. But so I just ordered a couple clear displays, 543s from him, and then so that's kind of how that grew a little bit. And then I pretty much stuck with that setup for a while. I had like a small little banner, that would go just over the table cover. So that's basically how it kind of started. And then from there, moved down to South Carolina, and we started doing a lot more shows. We started producing a lot more animals. Then that got to a really nice banner, nicer table covers, custom ordered displays. A lot of people, I don't know, really pay that much attention. When you walk up to our booth, it'll look like all the displays are clear, but when you're standing in front of them, they all look like they're blue as well, because they're all blue edged acrylic displays. So it's just a little subtle thing that really helps the displays kind of pop. But I do like, the clear sides on the display. So even if somebody's standing off to the side of your tables, say you got 2 or 3 people standing or 4 people standing in front of your booth, if someone's standing off to the side, they can still see into the displays. Where if you have color on the sides, whether it's black, green, blue, red, doesn't matter. And all the dividers are all that solid color as well. Like you really cannot see into those displays unless you're just about straight in front of them. Yeah. So, and that honestly, that's about the only thing that's really kind of kept me from ordering some of the next level displays. But though they have said that they would be happy to do clear displays. So then it would just be the edges, the outer edges where the next levels come up just a little bit taller. So just kind of the ends would be kind of blocked. But so that was kind of another thing where just after really looking, not real early on, but just before we did order like 6 or 7 of the custom ones, I think we ordered 7 of the custom ones, full complete displays. I really started paying attention especially when you're doing like national shows, like Tinley Park. I mean, at any given time, there could be crowds around where, again, if people can't see in your displays without being directly in front of them, so many people could just walk on by and never even know what you had in there if they're not clear. So, and that's something also that like Bob Vu and Josh Lundberg at BallPython Shed, I really paid attention to their setup as well. And all of their displays are all clear, and that's kind of really what made me notice how bright and vibrant their displays are, and being able to see, something that's even the next table over, on their multiple table setup, that I'm like, oh, what's that over there that I would never be able to see. So
yeah, big shout out to Jason from Ancestral Royal Pythons. When I was getting ready to buy my displays, I was almost going to go with the ones that were black on the side. And he was like, nah, don't do that. Get the ones that's clear on the side. So when somebody's standing to the side, they can see inside your displays. And I hadn't even thought about that. And so I'm glad I took his advice, because I do think that makes a difference.
Absolutely. And like even at Charlotte All-American Show, I mean, they have a beautiful setup. And again, like, even just walking up on them, I mean, they stand out. And that's what you want to do. You want to stand out and be memorable. So, yeah, they have a beautiful, colorful banner. Their displays are really nice, clean. That's another thing, man, like that I see people make a mistake on, is not cleaning the displays between shows. Like I'll see some people, they'll scoop the poo out of there, and then, 4 or 5 shows later, you still see the same marks they made scooping the poo out of their displays. You're like, oh my gosh. So yeah, we're always like, if you come up to our table, and like, especially if it's super early or super late in the afternoon where the crowd's not real big, we're probably cleaning the displays.
Yeah, I've seen
and again and again. So
that's one of my like visuals of you at the show, is like cleaning the displays.
We're constantly cleaning. And then before, we tried almost every show before the shows, we'll put the banners out and we'll spray them all down with mite spray, because you never know what you're going to come across in shows and different vendors that you don't know.
Right.
And some of them you do. So, you want to make sure you have a little pre-treatment action going, So, we try to do our best to ensure the safety of our animals as well. So
yeah, you got to, for sure.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you had a list of like show items and stuff. You want to speak to that?
Absolutely. So we have noticed some companies are better at certain things than others. Like our banner, we use the stretch fabric banner, and that's kind of been the best one we had. We had a vinyl one before, and we just didn't care for it. The stretch fabric banners seem to be some of the most popular ones, and we get that from fabricsignguys.com.
Okay.
They were super easy to work with. We originally ordered our banner from Table Covers Now, and it came in and it was awful. It was terrible. But
what's so bad about it?
So they sent the banner with like this big accordion looking thing to hook it all on, and it was missing pieces. The banner was like, even the one that I thought I ordered, I don't know if I got the one I ordered or not, but when it came in, it was like, it felt like a shower curtain. I mean, it was pretty bad. So, but their table covers are amazing. So we've actually stuck with them on their table covers, because their table covers are really, really nice, high quality. So, and that's Table Covers Now. But then we ended up at Fabric Sign Guys for our banner, and I think it might have been Bob Vu that actually told me
what style banner do you have? Do you have the one that's like, it's kind of rounded at the top and you pull the banner over, or do you have like
yes
okay yeah I like that style. The first banner that I bought, it wasn't that kind. It was the kind where you hook up the framework and you gotta like you got to screw all the stuff in and slide the thing over the rod, almost like a shower rod. And that thing is a pain in the butt. It's a pain in the butt to get straight, and it's a pain in the butt to set it up. It's a pain in the butt to break it down. Like, I did not like that type at all, so I would never take that route. I had went to Animal Con and hosted some stuff for Robin October or whatever last year, and I had his banner for Redline. Big shout out to Redline. I had his banner and set that one up, and it was one of the kind that I just talked about. It I asked you if you had. It was so much easier. Like,
yeah, it's like a tube frame that just all snaps together, and then you just pull the banner
slide
straight
it right
over.
over.
You can get one person can put it up.
With
it
was
little
like press the easy
difficulty.
button.
Yeah. So that's another thing too, is the size of banner. Ours is 8 feet tall and 6 feet wide. So you got to be careful going any more than 6 feet wide, even though most table space is 8 feet. You know, you usually get 8 feet, but then you're going to start encroaching on other people's booth setup. So we went the 6 feet wide, 8 feet tall, and it's been great. Then we stole idea from KINOVA, and we ordered the banner lights off Amazon, and that really, I think it makes a banner really stand out. It really just lights it all up. Even if there are lights on top of you, most shows that we've done, you know, are not well lit. So, you know, that's why most everybody has, you know, the lamps, you know, or different display lights as well. But yeah, we decided to go ahead and get the banner lights as well. And those.
So what's
those
the
are
setup on the banner lights? Like, where are the lights sitting?
So they actually have these little clamps at the top that actually clamp right on the tubing, and they're like made for that tubing. Okay. So they actually, so the lights literally are on the top of the banner. Okay. Yep. So they're really easy to put on and to put up, take down. They're really nice, and I think they really make a difference. You know, it really lights that banner up, especially in a darker venue. It can really make your banner stand out a lot. So, but that the very first Atlanta Southeast Reptile Expo, we were set up right next to Justin, and I was like, oh, hey, where'd you get those? What are those called? So he brought it up on his phone. He's like, here they are. They're on Amazon. They're all like, great. Or so that was pretty cool. So
yeah, you gotta shoot that to me so I can see.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We can do that. But like our lights on our displays, we use the 5 PHIVE, the little LED desk lamps right off Amazon. They used to only be like 40 something bucks, but I think they're up to like $60-$70 now a piece. But so we use those lights, and then we always run heat cables. You know, we use the Zoom Ed heat cables. You can get those on Amazon pretty dirt cheap. And then we just use like a little Zoom Ed multi-channel thermostat to run that on at shows to make sure. Because some shows, you never know. Even in the summertime, like if a venue's really cranking the AC, it can get pretty cold.
Cold, so,
yeah. Yeah, and we just, you know, with babies, we tend to want to go ahead and throw some heat on them. So, but yeah, we man, there's all kinds of stuff that I think a lot of people doing shows, especially if it's going to be your first show, you're just going for the first time. There's a lot of things that I think a lot of people wouldn't think of to bring on their own, probably assuming that a venue or promoters would provide it. But always bring extension cords, you know, always bring your own chairs, because a lot of times they'll either won't have chairs or they just won't be very nice. You know, make sure you always have like snake bags. We get ours from either Redline or TSK Supply. Same with the deli cups. We also order from either Redline or TSK Supply. You know, we do that also with the shipping boxes. You know, bring a cooler, because not every venue is going to have a snack bar or even vending machine. So bring a little cooler with a snack or some drinks or whatever you need in it, because those days can get pretty long just standing there all day. And then if you don't have time to get away from the table, you know, that's always a good problem to have.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially if you're vending by yourself. So it's bad enough where if you have to leave the table, to somebody else to watch it while you have to run off to the bathroom or something. But, we don't like to leave the table unattended for too awful long. But
yeah, I
I
remember
think
at the Charlotte show last year. It was one of the plant guys. What is it? Prop and Grow. I wanted to get him on the show, and he wanted to come on the show, but he was like, man, it was so busy. Like this guy, he was just running back and forth, back and forth, because I could see his booth from where our booth was, and dude was busy from the time they opened the door on Saturday till the end of Sunday, like just crazy. And it was just him by himself because usually his wife vends with him, but they had to split duties, and so she was vending at another show in like Florida or something like that, and he was up there, and it was just crazy. It was a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, also business cards, are important. I feel like, especially when you're selling an animal, give someone a business card because they're usually have questions later. If I forget to tell them the last time it ate, or they just forget what I told them, or what meal they're, or what prairie item they're on, if it's frozen, live, rat, ASF. We don't do mice, so that's never a problem for us. So, so stickers, like order, if you have a logo, order some stickers. Sticker Mule makes great stickers. That's where we get stickers and magnets from. People love them. We've kind of floated a little away from the stickers now because we see so often, like people will send us like a picture of our magnet on their fridge. Like it doesn't get any more better advertising than that. If your magnet is on their refrigerator, they see it every day when they go to the fridge.
Exactly.
So yeah, we've gone heavily into giving magnets to people who buy animals from us as well. So, and then, making sure you always have something to spray down your displays with, cleaning purposes, paper towels or microfiber towels are even better most of the time. Especially if you have acrylic displays. Like if you have the ARS that has like the glass on the top, you can get away with paper towels and some universal spray cleaner. Just make sure you're using ammonia free, no matter which ones you use, because those eventually can fog even the glass on ARS. So we use ammonia free on those.
With the acrylic, the paper towels will scratch it up.
Yes, that's why so we use for like the inside, like scooping up, snake poo or whatever, we'll use paper towels to scoop all that up, spray it down, wipe it out, and then we'll use the microfibers to do the finishing touches on the tops and the outsides, and even underneath the top lid too. So we want to make sure we're not scratching up the bottom or the sides or the top to see through.
Was Lamar talking about Coca-Cola or other?
I almost commented on that, but if he did a really cool episode, shout out to Chris Eaton on his Patreon on like storytellers. Mm-hmm. And so that could mean either one, I would say. So
whatever works.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, one other thing too that we have found incredibly valuable are our care sheets. So care sheets. Yep. We have care sheets pinned to the top of our Instagram page. I've always told anybody and everybody, if you do a screenshot of it or whatever and print it off, and you feel free to take it, make any changes to it you want, put your own logos on them. I don't care. It's pretty general knowledge stuff, just to help first time snake buyers and all that, so just do's and don'ts. A lot of misconception stuff, like not telling them not to use heat rocks and don't do feeding tubs, just feed them right in their own enclosures and just things like that. Proper temperatures, humidity. So, and that's pinned to the top of our Instagram page.
You get a lot of first time buyers, like first time owning a snake?
Every show. I would say several every show first time buyers. So they
really
tend to have a lot of questions.
I like that. I said that's really good. I like that because
Yeah,
first time buyers mean new entrants.
absolutely, absolutely, 100%. And we want I mean, actually, I don't want to say even especially new people, but everybody. We want to have a very good, successful experience with any animal they get from us or anybody else for that matter. We've handed out care sheets, printed care sheets to people even that didn't buy an animal from us, So we just want
That's
everybody to be successful. So, they get that fever like I did, and
yeah.
just, oh, well, wow, that's really easy to take care of. Let me go get another one, and another one and another one.
That's
So
exactly where I was going with it. It's good that you like take the time to work with those first time buyers and make sure they set up for success. It's good for them. It's good for the animal. It's good for you. It's good for other people in the industry and the hobby. All that good stuff. It's just
yeah,
compounding good benefits.
yeah. There's a lot of guys on here, especially like Limey and Jeremy was on here earlier. Guys that have been around for a while selling. We all take the phone calls. Hey, I bought this animal from you at this show and the snake won't eat, blah, blah. Every time my first response to them is send me a video of your setup. I want to see the entire setup. Send me a video of the entire setup. Show me what temperatures you're using, your thermostat, and send me a video. And 99% of the time, there's something definitely wrong or many things wrong with their setup.
What's
So
the thing
you can
often?
lead them. You can lead them to the care sheets, but you can't make them read it or follow it or But typically, if they don't, if they want to have success with that animal and it's not eating, and then they call or text, and usually that's my first question is, oh, hey, did you check out our care sheets yet? Or
What
it's either
husbandry
that
mistake
or
do you see most often?
pardon me.
So what husbandry mistake do you see most often when they send you the videos?
There's actually multiple. Usually they have them in a glass aquarium. None of the sides are covered.
It's wide open spaces.
It's wide open. They have like that green AstroTurf garbage in the bottom of the tank with like a wooden hide and a heat rock and a heat lamp, and that's about it. I've seen it so many times. No belly heat, but I mean, as long as the interior temperature is good, that's debatable. But yeah, I would say majority of the time, bright light, constant, always on. They've got that lamp on top, always on, never turn it off. So the animal's just super stressed. They don't have, a good hide.
Do your care sheets tell them not to listen to the people at the big box stores? Like
Absolutely.
Petco and PetSmart? They do?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's dope.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of different things people do or don't do for that matter. And sometimes too, a mistake people make is trying to feed a ball python, like trying to feed like a sub-adult ball python a large rat. It's like, what are you doing? Like, of course he didn't eat yours. You've done scared the hell out of that snake. Like he's not gonna, of course he's not gonna touch it. He went, whoa, what is that? They don't want it. Like we don't feed anything larger than a small rat to even our biggest females. Like nothing bigger than a small. They don't need it. Like it's just, unless you're trying to really fatten them up, which we don't do. And we try to keep them as lean and healthy as possible. Now, of course, when they're building, we might, give them an extra meal here and there, especially, if I open the tub to make sure they ate. And if they're right there getting ready to bite my face off again, I'll probably give them a second. But in general, like when our males hit 1,000 grams, they backed off to every other week. And that is really rare. Even through breeding season, it's very rare to get a refusal from a male if you feed every other week once they hit 1,000 grams. But I've had some bigger boys though that bred. I know there's people that said big males won't breed. I'm calling total BS on that. My biggest boys breed no problem.
Yeah, those like my biggest boys are my best breeders.
Absolutely.
Go right in, lock up, handle their business.
Absolutely. And if they go off feed for even 3, 4, 5 months, no problem.
It don't matter.
Yeah, they're going to be fine.
Yeah,
That's no problem. They know what they're doing, especially when they hit their third or fourth breeding season. If you have them that long, they know what they're doing. They know what they're there for. Like they understand the assignment, you know.
right.
Yeah.
Just go in, get the job done. Hey, I want to take a real quick sponsor break, and then we'll get back and chat some more.
All right.
Known for his innovative approach to genetic shed testing and top-quality ball pythons, Grey Rider Reptiles also excels in exceptional customer service and responsiveness. With a quick turnaround time, Charlie ensures you get the service you want and need. Visit shedtesting.com to explore his offerings and experience the best in the business. Don't miss out. Head to shedtesting.com today and unlock the power of your breeding projects.
Peace and love, family. We invite you into the heart of our serenity, Ancestral Royal Pythons. At Ancestral Royal Pythons, we're not just breeders, we're nurturers of love and growth. Each of our high-end ball pythons is a tribute to the grandeur of the natural world and our dedication to quality. Reach out today and bring one of our creations into your home. This is Ancestral Royal Pythons. Your journey begins here.
Here's to the exciting world of Ebony and Ivory reptiles. From unforgettable parties and events to keeping and hatching some of the dopest reptiles in the reptile hobby, we're all about education, quality, integrity, and respect. Hit us up and see how we can help make your next project a reality. Experience Ebony and Ivory Reptiles, where fascination meets fun.
Ebony and Ivory Reptiles.
Big shout out to the sponsors. Appreciate you, fellas. So what about pricing, dog? Like what's your pricing look like at the show? Like, are you pricing the same as you were pricing on Morph Market, or are you kind of adjusting up or down?
Ooh, yes and no. Depends on the animal. Depends on the animal. Like if I have a snake that there may even be one or two on Morph Market, but I don't really want to sell it. Like if I don't mind, if you know, if it's an animal that, you know, I don't mind keeping, you know, and breeding later, the price might be a little bit higher. If it's something that has made it through one or two shows, maybe even a third show, then the price comes down. If it makes it through another couple shows, then I'm probably trying to give the snake away, you know? So yeah, if it hasn't sold in a while, yeah, it's definitely going to be dropped way down in price. But in general, I still try to be fair to the market because I don't want to hurt or damage my own projects or anybody else that might be in a project. So I'm really avoid, you know, we're not, since Margaret and I both have full-time jobs, we're not desperate for the money. We would rather, you know, hold our own with the pricing, you know, to be fair to the market and market value, just simply so we don't conflict with other vendors. And again, a lot of vendors here in the Southeast, even though some guys can be a little cutthroat, in general, we usually don't hamstring each other. Usually it's pretty, I mean, it's competitive enough. Like we try not to race to the bottom. There's always going to be guys that are going to do that, you know, especially, and not talking trash on anybody that just sets up with just deli cups, but in general, you know, guys who are just out there just buying tons of snakes wholesale or any other animal for that matter and throwing it up on the table and just trying to make a buck on them, and selling it as cheap as they can just to move mass quantities. We tend to just kind of ignore that pricing aspect at a show and just kind of stick to our guns. We know what our animals are worth. We know they're healthy. We know their genetics. We're sponsored by RGI, so we shed test a ton of animals with RGI.
Oh, I didn't realize y'all were sponsored by RGI. That's dope.
Oh yeah. So yeah, we lean on Sean and Ben and Kayla a lot. That way, and like if you come up to our displays or you come up to our table, there will be little stickers that it will say shed tested by RGI right on them. If RGI has shed tested that animal, there will be a sticker on that animal. So anything that is even remotely questionable on an ID, if there's a shed test available, we're shed testing it.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, we've been sponsored by RGI for about a year now or so. We kind of were introduced by Stephen and Courtney at Leviathan to Sean and Ben, so they really hooked us up there. And then we in turn did the same thing for a couple other local breeders as well. But I will say there's a couple other things for shows that people will need that they may not know right away, that took me time to learn too. Like we use like the little P-Touch printers to print out the little labels. I see a lot of people now who have Husbandry Pro, they'll or Clutch, they'll print out the cards with a little QR, so you can just scan the QR and that'll bring you any information, as far as the clutch, the pairing, last time they ate, all that kind of stuff, which is really, really cool. We're hoping to kind of go to that pretty soon. We actually are, when we get back from our next Alaska cruise here in a couple of weeks, we'll probably start working on getting all that kind of stuff done. But I already said the extension fans. Oh, chalk pens, like even if you print off, like whenever we print with the regular labeler, that'll typically be the market price. Whatever Morph market, especially if we have an animal on Morph market, that'll be the price that's going to be on that sticker. So if we want to put it on sale or whatever, we'll use chalk pens, because the chalk pens wipe off real easy and they won't scratch your displays. So we'll use the chalk pen. And then fans. I think that's the thing. That's one of the most recent things that we do. Margaret and I both will have like a little floor fan, because some of those venues, man, though, especially down here in the Southeast, as you know, some of the venues will be really hot during setup because they have the bay doors open. It can be 90 degrees up in there, and I'm a big guy, so if I didn't have those fans rolling, even during setup, I just would have sweat through every piece of clothing I had on. So
that's how I'm in Daytona, man. Like every time I go to Daytona, it don't matter if I'm vending, it don't matter if I'm just attending. Like I'm always sweating by the time I get in the building, like sweating, and it take me a while to cool down because it'd be so hot, humid, whatnot. Yeah,
it's kind of funny because like guys like Craig, Bash Coder, he knows we have those fans back there. So if he's at a show we're at some point during that show, he's probably hanging out behind our booth with those fans blowing on him so he can cool off a little bit. But hey, man, I know everything. When you're a big guy, it don't take much to get the sweat going. So, and which brings me to my last thing. When you're vending a show or even attending a show, oh my gosh, take a shower, put some deodorant on, for goodness sakes. Some of those shows can be so hot and so crowded, and if you're in there just stinking the place up, whoo. Like there's a couple of vendors where I literally had to walk away from the table, even if they had something I wanted, because I'm just like, oh my God. And that would be another thing too, is try to limit the smoking to a lower amount, because that can be off-putting to some people as well. If you're just overwhelmingly, smell like smoke, that can make people walk away from the table. That I've seen happen in some places, but yeah, just wear some deodorant or bring something to spray on you, or take a jacket outside with you, and that way it's not all over your shirt if you're smoking. No matter what you're smoking, I'm not judging, whatever works for you is fine. So, but yeah, for the most part, I think that's about most everything that we use at shows, and kind of a process that we've kind of really got into. But when you start doing show after show after show, after you've done probably, I'd say around 8 to 10 shows, you really should have a pretty good feel of what works for you and what doesn't work for you. You know, engaging people. One of my biggest pet peeves is literally at shows watching other vendors sitting there in the chair behind their table with their head down on their phone that entire show, and then complaining that they had a terrible show, where everybody who's standing up and, you know, and greeting people had an amazing show. You know, it's a really big pet peeve of mine that people will complain that they had a horrible show, but every time you walk by, they won't even look up at somebody at their table. So that's true, Limey. Like, he's the exception to the rule. I mean, you know. So he's the smoker. He goes outside and smokes quite a bit, but he's the exception to the rule, you know. So, you know, Limey can sell water to a drowning man. I can tell you that. That guy's amazing. You know, but even when he's outside there, you know, he's got his lovely assistant there at the Royal Reptilia table, always taking care of business too. So
that's what's up. So
yeah.
what's your mindset like with going to the show, right? And what I mean by that is, like, how are you going into the show in terms of sales? Like, are you thinking, I want to sell as much as possible? Like, how are you pumping yourself up? Like what you doing? Like, what's your kind of like approach as far as the mental of it?
You know what? In the beginning, it was like that, you know, like, oh man, I'm going to sell this many or that or this. But, you know, every animal you sell has to be that right animal for that person that's walking up. I mean, if either somebody's going to like what you got or they won't. You know, the animals to me should just about sell themselves. So, I mean, we do have, like, depending on how far we travel for a show, we do kind of have a set minimum of whether it's worth it or not to do the show. We've dropped a couple of shows, you know, after having back-to-back or even 3 back-to-back bad shows. We typically will probably drop that show and go somewhere else or try something else. But usually,
is 3 your number?
Pardon me?
Is 3 your set number?
Depends on how far we're going. Like, like when I go to Dallas, you know, like, because travel expenses are high, table fees are really high. So yeah, so usually that's usually around 4. If we don't clear 4K, then that's a bad show. Just for the amount of time, especially because usually I have to take 1 or 2 days off of work. Yeah, as well to travel that far, because Dallas is like 17 hours. Now, I will say there are exceptions to that, like especially when you're starting. There was no, like, when it comes to national shows like Daytona, Dallas, St. Louis, Tinley, doesn't matter. Our banner is up. It's advertising. People see the banner. They see that we've got healthy animals. Even if we don't have something they want then, that could lead to a sale later. You know, you know, so when it comes to that early on, and that was more the mindset of doing those main NARBC or NRBE. And honestly, even the Atlanta show is such a great national level show, the Southeast Reptile Expo, that, you know, just having your banner up there is worth more than what you could potentially make even in the animals, just to get that banner and your logo in people's faces, get that name recognition. That's why we've been road warriors for all these years. You know, we haven't really got our YouTube channel going very well. I mean, I think we went over 10,000 followers on Instagram finally. So that was really exciting.
Congrats on that.
Yeah, thank you. So that was you know, it took a while to do that. But, you know, we never paid for all the bots and all that kind of stuff. You know, we would rather organically grow. You know, it's funny, you see people with 30, 40,000 followers and can't even get 100 likes on a post. You know, we didn't want to be that vendor kind of thing. But yeah, we made a decision a few years ago to vend as many shows as possible. And you know, as long as we had the inventory to do it as well and still represent our business as well as we can. So, but you know, there's other local shows that we've dropped just for the simple fact that either A, there's more than one, more than two, or more than three wholesalers they're at the show that we just can't compete with, you know, that, you know, and it's, especially if it's a heavy pet market, there's just no competing with them. So we, you know, we just don't bother with a couple of shows that way. But like the funny thing is our local show basically here in our backyard in Columbia, South Carolina is always our best monetary show. And it's the least, cost us the least to do it. No hotel expenses. Literally, it's just gas from here to there, which, I mean, it's like 26 miles down the road, and then the table fees, and that's about it in our time. We don't have to take off work or nothing, and usually that's our best show. But we've built up a pretty good local customer base as well that come back to us again and again, which is just priceless. I mean, if you're treating people right with healthy animals, they will come back to you. So
100%. And so you probably touched on some of this already, but with the exception of like somebody like sitting down looking at their phone like the whole show, you ever walk past somebody's booth and just think to yourself like, damn, they ain't selling shit today? And if so, what gives it away?
You're saying they're not selling shit?
Yeah, they're not gonna be able to sell nothing today. And if so, like what's that?
All right.
What's that stands out? You ain't gotta say no names unless you want to.
I'm not gonna say names, but I will say this. I will say this. And number one, I'm not pooing on anybody's projects. I'm not pooing on what anybody likes. Everybody's different. But I will say in general, the guys that really tend to go to shows who don't make money are guys who don't pay attention to the pet level purchaser or don't want to deal with that pet level buyer that has a lot of questions, or their displays are dark, dirty, or they have a big lack of color in their displays, meaning everything looks from a distance like a normal, even though it could be an amazing Wookiee combo or chocolate combo or stranger from 5 feet away. If you're walking by and you look over and all you see is just dark snakes, a lot of people are just going to think, wow, they don't have nothing I'm going to want to see over there. I feel like you have to have at least some pops of color in your displays for contrast, you know, and honestly, I've learned that along the way from my wife being, you know, she's an artist, she's an art teacher. A lot of our colors on our displays are purposeful. They're done for a reason. Complementary colors. The snakes pop on the blue. You know, that's why we use the blue hamster bedding in the displays. We don't like that it's a little bit dusty. So that's another reason why we're always cleaning the displays, because that stuff can be a little bit dusty, but it's super absorbent, easy to clean up, and the snakes look great on it. Yeah, I would say that that's an issue I think some vendors have as well, is dirty displays, nothing but dark animals all across the board, not engaging people.
One of the things I don't like at the show,
or they're just downright rude.
What's that? Oh,
or
being
they're just
rude?
not personable.
Yeah.
They're rude. They're, you know, if they're a jerk to somebody, you know, even if you could be the nicest guy, but if you're a jerk to one person and other people saw that at your table,
exactly,
that could, you know, I think there's way too many people in the hobby, whether it's shows, appearing on something like this, or any other channel on YouTube, or just interaction away from the show, like even hanging out at the bar at Tinley or anywhere else, or Atlanta or Daytona. If you're a jackass, you're going to have issues. You're going to have issues. You know, if you're always just complaining constantly, you know, wah, you know, I mean, either change something or then get out. You know, if you can't make it work, you know, but those are all things that I just really feel like people need to be aware every time you're in public, especially at shows or around a show, appearing on YouTube or Instagram or whatever, you are representing your business. Even when you make a comment on somebody's post, if you want to be a jerk or, just talk trash about people, a lot of people won't want to do business with you. Always keep in mind, you are representing your brand at all times when you're in public. So there's a lot of times where I will bite my tongue, not comment, or I will, yeah, there you go, Will, or, just keep my opinions to myself. When I'm in a show, you'll never hear me talking politics, or anything about social issues or anything like that, because that has no place at the show for me. Everybody at a show, to me, I'm where I love going to the shows, because it's all like-minded people. We're all there for the animals. We're all, and in one way or another, I think a lot, I would even go the majority of people who have reptiles feel like outcasts. We're the weirdos, we're the freaks, we're the, oh my God, that guy's got snakes or whatever. Yeah, but you know what? Then at a show, man, that whole show is filled with people just like you, just like me, and it's good, man. It's good to have conversations, even if people don't agree on a lot of other things. Man, we can all agree on caring properly for the animals and being respectful to each other at a show. And so, yeah, I mean, represent, but like if I will say, if a customer of mine comes up to me and asks me, or they tell me, hey, I'm looking at a snake over this other table, the vendor is so-and-so, do you know them? Are they good? Are they not? Now, if I'm specifically asked, I will be as honest as I can. If they are, like, if someone came up and said, hey, I'm looking at this snake at Constrictors, I'll be like, oh, awesome. Yeah, they're great people, wonderful snakes. Or, the other guys that I've already mentioned, like Noodle Group, Constrictors, JLP, Morphs, Limey Smidger, go over there, Royal Reptile, beautiful, healthy animals. Guy like Al down there in Charleston at Leveled Up, beautiful, healthy animals.
Like Leveled Up?
Leveled Up Exotics. Yeah, they're great people. I love Al. His family are all invested in the business. He hasn't done any national shows. I'm not sure why. Beautiful, beautiful, big setup. Just like Daniel's talking about here. I mean, yeah, that's for sure, Daniel. You can't ever judge what anybody walking up to your table, doesn't matter what they look like. I mean, I never assume people have money or don't have money or what they can or can't afford, because you just never know.
You never know.
You never know.
And a lot of times, person who looks like they can afford something is the person that can afford, like, maybe even more than you can afford. And the person that look all flashy and stuff.
Well, for a long time, almost anybody walked in the door probably has more money than I could afford. Paying child support for all them years, which my youngest son just finally graduated high school on Tuesday. We were up in Louisville, Kentucky for that. Graduated from Butler High School with honors. So that was amazing. That was amazing. So the first call next day was the child support office. Hey, we're done. That's the last fun. Get him off the payroll.
What's next for? Like, what's his next step? He going to college?
Oh, he's actually got a scholarship to Brescia College. So he'll be going there. Bowling scholarship of all things.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's one of the top bowlers in the country. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He's doing pretty good. So.
Congrats, bro.
But then my stepdaughter just got married 2 weeks ago tomorrow. So we've had a lot going on. So I've been kind of quiet on social media for probably about 6-8 weeks. We've just been so busy. I just haven't had time. We've got so much going on. So
yeah, believe it or not, I've been pretty quiet myself too. There's a lot going on right now.
Oh yeah, like what? What else you got going on?
Like work is crazy right now. So that's been like the biggest thing is it's just been like I don't even know how to articulate how much of an absolute madhouse work been right now. And so that's the biggest thing that's really kind of been like pulling me away. So I just been kind of having to put my head down and take care of it. But I'm definitely seeing the light at the end of the tunnel as far as that goes. But yeah, just been super busy, man. A lot of stuff been going on, family stuff going on, having to deal with like things at the house and stuff like that. So just really been having to focus, zone in, man. So I've been a little quiet, like quieter than I normally be or would really like to be, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, and your Gators won the national title too.
Hell yeah.
So yeah. So that I bet that had to be pretty exciting down there.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw some of like the news and stuff like that. One of the students climbed up on like one of the light poles and stuff and fell down, like not light poles, but like traffic lights, like, you know, those kind that like go over like the big pole and the big part. They climbed up on that and fell down, like just crazy stuff.
Yeah.
That you do when you're young.
Oh yeah, I mean, kids are going to be kids, especially in college. You know, your team wins the national championship. I mean, that's nothing to be, you know, taken lightly, I think. So, you know, y'all brought it home for the SEC, though. You guys are one of our arch rivals at University of Kentucky. So.
Yes, sir. I'm waiting for football season. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, always. Oh yeah, but yeah, man, there's just a lot of different as far as shows goes. Another thing I would strongly recommend people do is don't be afraid to engage other vendors, because you can make so many friends doing this. Like, I try to post pictures. Like, I posted a picture at the All-American show. It was me and Antoine and oh my God, who else was in the picture? But the caption was, if you aren't having this much fun. It was Troy Schroeder and oh my God, was it? It was Tyler from Tyler's Toxic Balls dad. He was in the picture with us. You know, if you're not having this much fun at the show, you ain't doing it right. But, you know, like anytime I see you with the show, I mean, man, if I see you, you know, I'm beelining it right to you. You're going to get a great big hug. I always love seeing you and your beautiful wife, Takari, there. And then, or even if I see, you know, Terrence, you know, Malicio, any of those guys, man, like I love being around people who just are always upbeat, positive, smiles on their face. That's why I love Bob Vu. Believe it or not, even like Justin at KINOVA, so personable. His whole team, honestly. I mean, Chase. I mean, everybody at KINOVA or Rice Reptiles, Jersey Guys Balls. I mean, Brett and John are awesome. We love talking to them, hanging out with them. Tyler, Ancestral Royals. I mean, you name it. Like, there's so many amazing people. Shane at Small Town Exotics. I mean, I can go on and on and on of all the guys there that, you know, we just love to go and hang out with. Like, I always try to at least get at some point, you know, to go say hi to Jason Kittinger or go say hi to Justin over at Morph Jungle or go say hi to, you know, Corey DeLong or, you know, whomever, Chad, or, you know, there's such good people in this hobby and this, you know, and just reptiles in general. There's non-BallPython breeders that we go and talk to all the time. So, you know, shows are what you make of it. If you go and you have a good time and people see you're having a good time, it can be infectious. People will want to come and see what you got at your table. They'll want to come over and be like, wow, he's friends with them and them and them and them, you know. They see you all the time, you know, so you must be doing something right. But again, if you're going to be just an introvert and just sit behind your table, not talk to anybody or be a dick to somebody for asking a basic question that you think they should already know, or like, oh my God, do your homework. Well, you know, sometimes that's what they come to the show for, is to do their homework, to ask you.
Exactly. Asking questions is part of doing your homework.
Absolutely. So patience, man, patience, and just having fun. Like that, I think that's, you know, that's one reason why I think another reason why we do a lot of shows, not just to get that name brand in people's face, but a lot of times that's like our adult time. Like, I work from home. I sit here all day. So if I want adult time with other people, interaction, I got to go to a show and hang out with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh, hey, there's Mike. Let me go hang out with him for a little while. You know, or Craig, you know, from, you know, when he shows up to some of the shows, and like Scott and Jordan at Genetic Genesis, we absolutely love them. And they have they're addicted to cruising just like we are, though they usually go on Norwegian and we're more Princess fans. But we love vending with them. We love talking to them. Just amazing guys. I mean, and again, we can just go on and on about all the friends we've made along the way, traveling around the country. I feel like there's probably not a state that we couldn't go to, make a phone call, and have a place to stay if we really wanted it, So there's just always so many positive things that you can take away from a show, especially networking, that even if you don't have a good show, if you networked really good at that show and people like you and they want to help you out,
that's a
they
win.
See that you're doing things right. They see you have healthy animals. They probably will bring customers over to your table. Like even at a Columbia show, like Daniel was just on, he's on here right now at the Noodle Group. Like more than one occasion, I would walk somebody over to their table or be like, hey, I don't have that, but I know Daniel has it right behind me. Go talk to them. So, and him and his wife are a great team as well. So, it's always nice to have that great interaction, but not just with customers, but other vendors as well. It's a great way to build a reputation, a good reputation. So
100%. Jordan made a good point I wanted to call out right here. He said that like somebody's basic question might have took like all of their courage for them to even ask that question, and then you shoot them down and be rude. Now you killing like one of their early experiences in the industry,
yes.
Early experiences in the hobby. You may just turn them off from it completely, and then it's like, I don't want to deal with reptiles. And we need to be doing things to bring more people in, not run people out.
Absolutely. Yeah, the first guy at a big show at Tinley Park that actually took the time to answer my ridiculous rookie questions, never acted like he was put out, never acted like, I've asked too many questions that he needed, to go, and but took the time to sit there and answer every question I had was Garrick DeMeyer from Royal Constrictor Designs.
Oh, nice.
So
he'll be on this Monday. Shameless plug, not to cut you off, but he'll be on this Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Corner.
Awesome. I absolutely love Garrick DeMeyer. The other guy at that show that took his time to talk to me was also Ozzy.
Nice.
From Ozzy Boys. One of the last Tinleys he ever vended too. But luckily, and I don't know if we just had a rapport instantly, because when I walked up to him, I had my Baltimore Orioles shirt on. So I think that helped maybe a little. But and I ended up buying my very first Orange Dream that I ever bought was from him, and it was a Super Orange Dream Bongo male. So that was like 10 years ago now. And
how much
but
was
he
that?
also took time to talk to me.
How much was that at the time?
I'm gonna say it was like $1,500, something like that.
1,500.
Yeah, I think so. It was around 1,500 because Bongo was like really high back then too. So that was like the new latest greatest, and then Puzzle was like right in that range. That was back, man, at that show. Things that you go back and you think, oh my gosh, like back then, like if you wanted to buy a pied, right, the higher the white the pied, the more money it went for. The more pattern the pied had on, like you could buy a pied at that show for like $200, which was dirt cheap if it had low white. If it only had like a little color on its head, that thing would probably be a grand or more, maybe $2,000. It's so crazy how things flip.
That's totally different. Yeah. And how you want it now? Because now I know me personally, I like to have pattern in my pied.
I do too. I like low white pied. I like all the color and pattern I can get on them. Especially, that's why I love working with the Scrambler gene, because it's almost no white at all. That's a dead giveaway that on some of the Scramblers too. They're going to be extremely low white, amazing wonky patterns. But there's other stuff. Like I had to save up for a while just to buy my first single gene clown male back then. I was paying child support on 4 kids. So, I mean, to say I've taken the long road is a big, big understatement. So, yeah, literally working 2 jobs, paying child support, trying to buy an animal here and there. So yeah,
you got to do what you got to
so,
do.
Yeah,
So you
I
got to do what
mean,
you got to do.
that absolutely. You know, I had to build my collection by buying the best animals for the projects that I had that I could afford, breeding them together, sell the entire clutch, like not hold back a single snake to buy that one next level animal that I could get. And I've been doing that for years, honestly. Like only probably the last 2 years have I really started holding back more and more and more animals, and have become kind of my own best customer the last couple of years. Unfortunately, there's a few guys that come over to the house from time to time that they never shop in the racks that are for sale. They always go right to my whole back rack. and fortunately and unfortunately, those guys are usually willing to step up, you know, in the money to buy something out of that rack. And then of course, then it's gone. And now I'm like, oh my God, I should have never sold that. Why did I sell that? You know, but you know, but it makes Margaret smile when those when we can sell something for a pretty good price. So, but that's another, you know, just breeding in general. You know, be your own best customer if you can afford to. You know, if you're on a budget, man, sell everything and buy that next level animal from that other breeder that's out there. That's you know, that's the way I had to do it. So
Cool. So give us because we talked a lot about shows, but we haven't talked much about your season. You talked a little bit about what you got in the incubator and stuff like that. But talk about from a project perspective. Give us a quick update on your season.
Well, projects. Let's see. We have 2 clutches with shots at Sunset Ultra Males in the incubator right now.
Nice.
I have a girl getting ready to lay right now.
What was the pairing on those?
So it was double het female to a visual ultramale het sunset male.
Okay. So 1 and 8.
Yeah. So fingers crossed. One girl gave us 9 eggs. The other one gave us 8. So we got 17 shots at hitting visual sunset ultramales.
Nice.
We have eggs in the incubator right now for DG puzzles. One of our girls getting ready to lay, our sunset girl's getting ready to lay eggs. And she was paired to a puzzle het ultramale male. So those will be double hets, and we'll shed test for the ultramale. Fingers crossed. Just about any female that comes out of that, you know, any female that hits for the ultramale as well for the triple, they're not going anywhere. So that's something for us. We work, you know, the Eternal Flame project pretty hard. We have 2 clutches that will be ready by Charlotte Repticon in June in a few
Eternal
weeks.
Flame? What's Eternal Flame?
So our Eternal Flame project is our banana cinnamon inchy calico extreme jeans. They're super brilliant oranges and yellows, and the calico, the whites, just we have the line of calico that we have is really kind of a high white calico. Okay. I guess some people probably would even consider it sugar, but you know, I don't know if it's the exact same gene since they haven't shed tested or, you know, got that on DNA yet. Probably the same thing, just, you know, higher expression. We have a high white expression calico line. And that's really kind of our bread and butter. I mean, we sell every clutch that we get from this specific male, and he has several female girlfriends. It's rare for a single snake to make it through a show from that clutch.
Oh, word.
Yeah, they sell so well. And a lot of them sell for substantially more money than even double recessives. Like our Eternal Flames, and we also have like a yellow belly Eternal Flame right now that will be up to size. And we've also put Scrambler into it now too. So, okay. And we have hatched one of those clutches, and man, I don't want to sell any of them. They're the ones that are Scrambler. I'm like, oh, I think I might keep those. You know, Mama don't want me to keep them. She wants that income coming in. You know,
have you posted some of that?
Pardon me?
Have you posted some of that, like what you just recently had?
I think I posted one, maybe one from that clutch.
Okay.
The rest of them I've been kind of keeping under wraps. Plus, I haven't really had time, really all that much time on social media. So
yeah, with ripping and running, everything you had going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, oh my God, Daniel. So he's saying the not for ed tags. So Daniel makes these little clips for your tubs, right? And so he made me ones that say NFE or not for ed. So Ed is Ed of Coffin's Critters, one of the guys that likes to shop my whole back rack. So I'll click those on the whole back rack. Daniel made those tags for me. So when Ed comes over, you know, he's like, he just starts laughing because it says not for Ed right on the tub. So that's kind of an inside joke thing that that is now public knowledge. It's pretty funny. But yeah, we got I got quite a few clown combos coming. I mean I have my Cypress Hurricane Gravel Clown male that is still like auburn orange. He's so amazing even as an adult. He's been putting in a lot of work for me. Okay. He was paired my spot nose cinnamon yellow belly clown female just laid eggs that he was the sire to. We have we have a redhead hypo clown that we picked up from Justin Kabelka that's breeding now, so we're trying to shoot for a few nice hypo clown combos. I have a lace clown hypo female that he's been paired to. Orange Dream hypo pied stuff. We're always working on that as well. I don't know if you noticed or you saw it on my Insta, but we did have a snake. I actually bought it from Jason Kittinger, and she's just absolutely beautiful Orange Dream hypo-pied female. And about 2 months after I picked her up, she started changing colors. Now she looks like a pure black and white exanthic female.
Really?
No color left in her at all. She is black and white. She is beautiful black and white, but she is an Orange Dream hypo-pied. So it's kind of crazy. You know, I've talked to Dr. Ben over there at RGI about it. We did actually an episode on their channel about it. So it's extremely rare, but there have been other people that have had something similar happen in their collections, but I'm not really 100% sure how many have had the extreme change that this girl's had, because it is unbelievable. But yeah, so that's another project. You know, I actually sold off. I was working the DG Pied project for a while, but I sold the entire project off back in the fall.
Why is that?
Man, because you only have so much tub space. You know, like,
yep.
You know, you can only, you know, the building, the facility that I have 8 ARS racks in there. I got 2 70-30s. I got 3 55-40s. I've got a mini 130 and 2 10-65s. That's all I have room for. So one project, you know, when you're making room for holdbacks, some stuff's just got to go. And, you know, so.
Why was DG Pied the project that got chosen?
Because it was just one that I wasn't as passionate about as some of the other projects that I had going. Gotcha. Don't get me wrong, I love pied stuff, but almost all our pied stuff has been sold. We have a couple of breeder females left that's been paired to our banana pied just for some stuff to sell at the shows. But once they lay and they're back on feed and have had a few meals, they'll be going as well. So we'll be just down to our Scrambler Clown Pied project and our Hypo Pied projects. Other than that, all the other Pied projects have to go to make room for other projects that we're actively working on. We're working on a lot of Ultramel Clown stuff, Sunset Ultramel Clown stuff, Sunset Puzzle Ultramel, Sunset Ultramel, a lot of different projects. So when you're dealing with a lot of holdbacks, yeah, tub space can be at a premium.
Big facts.
we need to, man, like the biggest probably expense, hopefully this year for me, will be getting my rodents out of my snake building. Just full on new either snake building, snake facility, move, just separating the rats and the snakes, because man, that can get so old going out there. I mean, even if I just changed every rack in a day of the rats, you go out there and you still smell like rats when you come back in the house, So, luckily my snakes are used to it, so, I don't get, the feed response. Like if I purchase a snake, when they come out of quarantine, out of the house or the quarantine upstairs here in the house, and they go out to the building, they're ready to take my head off because they smell those rodents constantly. So it takes them a while to get used to the scent in the building. So, but eventually I really would like to get the snakes and the rodents separated so I can enjoy working with the snakes and not smelling like rats or pine all day long. So that's probably another expense for us. And then I don't know, man. We do a lot of banana stuff. We love banana combos as well. So we're another project we're working too. Though those girls are being really stubborn, is working on banana campfire genetic stripes.
Okay.
So I've never really been a big fan of genetic stripes, but man, the banana, especially leopard banana genetic stripes, are unbelievably beautiful.
Yeah.
They are so nice. And
the first snake that one of the first, because I bought two at once, but one of them was a banana genetic stripe combo. And it was nice. It was supposed to be a female. It ended up being a male, but it was still nice looking.
But speaking of shows, so when I saw your table at Sear and I walked up, I was like, man, you do not talk about your collection enough, because holy moly, did you bring some fire. I was like, holy moly. I felt almost embarrassed to what was on my table compared to what was on yours. Man, you brought some heat to that show. Some beautiful snakes.
I appreciate it, man. I do need to talk about the snakes a little bit more, like the collection, and post more too. That's the biggest thing. I need to be posting more.
Absolutely, man. You have a beautiful collection. You have some amazing projects. You make amazing animals. You definitely should promote that a little more, because you deserve it. You deserve it. You have built obviously a very nice collection. A lot of stuff I absolutely I'm into. Will. Yeah, well, come to Atlanta when Mike is set up there, you will be like, holy moly, like, wow. You'd think you just walked by KINOVA or Rice Reptiles table and you walk by his table. It's like, man, whew, some serious competition, man. Yeah, you got some really nice stuff. You should be very proud of your collection and what you
appreciate that,
building
man.
Over there, man. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Of course.
Cool, man. So we're about 9:40. Wrap it up for tonight. I appreciate you coming on, man. Is there anything you want to let folks know? Be on the lookout for all that stuff. Shout out your socials, all that good stuff too.
I mean, for the most part, just hit us up on Instagram. You see us post something on Instagram, and it looks like something you might be interested in, just private message me. We sell a lot of snakes that way. A lot of snakes that don't make it to shows sold because of Instagram. That somebody messaged me, hey, are you keeping that? Or if it's a holdback, I will usually in the comments, I will say that it's a holdback. If I don't comment that it's a holdback, it's probably going to be available. So don't be shy. You can always hit me up, and we can make a deal over that too. We will be using Morph Market a lot more coming up as we back down the number of shows we do. We'll definitely ramp up. A lot of people ask me all the time, like, man, you don't have anything on your Morph Market. Or, like, I think we literally have 2 snakes on Morph Market right now. But,
I got 0. I got a lot. I got 0 right now.
Yeah. But for when you do as many shows as we do, it got to the point where I stopped posting a lot on Morph Market because we would sell animals at a show during the day, and I don't touch my phone unless I have to. unless I'm using the point of sale for like Square or something on my phone, I try not to touch my phone, try to stay engaged with everybody. But so at the end of the day, I'll look and then I'll have Morph market inquiries on snakes we just sold. And then the people who inquired about them are all pissed off,
why'd you have it
why
posted?
don't you take it off Morph market? It's like, yeah, because it just sold a few hours ago and this first opportunity I had, so, and it just, and sometimes you might sell something in a show and you forgot that it was on Morph market, and that can lead to a lot of other issues. So we try to, as we back down our show schedule, we're definitely going to post a lot more stuff on Morph market.
It makes sense. Perfect sense.
But yeah, it's a great tool. We love Morph market. Darian's been great to us. He's given Margaret a bunch of hats to paint. And if you've seen those hats at the show, she'll paint the Morph market hats and stuff. But yeah, we're just always trying to do what's best for our business. Not get caught in any drama. Like with the whole shipping thing going on. Like if I'm shipping a snake that was under $1,000, I'm probably going to use Morph market shipping. If it's over $1,000, I guarantee you I'm going to use Redline. Just to know, that if I need to pick up the phone, there'll be somebody there at Redline to help me out if something were to happen. So, that's the kind of thing, we try to avoid. Not getting kind of caught up in drama. So, and I think that's a good lesson for a lot of people,
100%.
Especially if you don't have all the information. Like a lot of people got extremely opinionated when the first Southeast Reptile Expo got started, and there was some, scheduling issues with another show. And a lot of people voiced opinions and literally didn't know what they were talking about. At all. Like, just don't believe everything you hear from everybody. Make sure you're getting information from more than one resource.
It's like all those people that comment under like articles and stuff, and you can tell by their comments they didn't even open the article, much less read it.
Right. Exactly my point. So, but yeah, man, I will say, like, you do such a great job representing your brand, your family, this hobby. So it's always a pleasure to be on here with you, man. I definitely appreciate it.
I appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure chatting with you, man. Like I say, every time we talk, always learning something, man. It's always good vibes, and I really appreciate you coming on, man. So big shout out to you, man. Big shout out to Margaret.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be it for tonight. Appreciate everybody sliding through, checking us out, showing support. Make sure you hit that like button if you hadn't hit that like button already. Right now is the perfect opportunity to hit that like button. Big shout out to the replay gang. Big shout out to the audio only gang. That's gonna be it for tonight. We really appreciate y'all coming out for Clutch Conversations. I'm Mike. This is the homie Troy. The lovely lady behind the scenes is the car. Thank y'all for coming out. Be blessed. Peace.